All right, so we are back with Dr. Mike Van Thielen. Dr. Mike, welcome back. Great to see you again. How you doing?
Great to see you, Sean. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to just go back in because, before we get started, we've got a lot of really good information, a new program that you're starting up that I'm very excited about. But I just want to go in real quick to give some people a background. Dr. Mike, PhD, biohacker, best-selling author, international keynote speaker, world record holder in swimming, PhD holistic nutrition, health and wellness expert, renowned international keynote and motivational speaker, which we're going to touch on because you've got a big event coming up later this month at the biohacking event in Miami as a keynote speaker, which is going to be fantastic. February 23 through the 25th. So, anybody that's out there, you definitely want to be at that conference. Licensed therapist, licensed acupuncture physician, doctor of Oriental medicine, in certifications, injection therapy, homeotherapy, homotoxicology, Chinese herbal medicine, non-invasive cosmic procedures, best-selling published author. I've got 4 of your books, and we are super excited to have you back on the show. And as we're talking about biohacking now, I know that event is coming up that you're going to be a keynote speaker. You're also a keynote speaker. So anybody that's out there in the anti-aging, in the biohacking field, you definitely want Dr. Mike at your event. And the funny thing is, that's how we actually met. Was you did a keynote speaking event in Orlando that I was at, and we just so happened to sit down next to each other at lunch. And I learned so much that day. I really did. I mean, the amount of information that you were able to impart from all that wealth of experience really hit home. And actually, a lot of it became part of my lifestyle where I started doing things differently, thinking about things differently. And so we've been able to spend time together after that. So it's always great to have you back. So do you want to talk a little bit about, we've got this new program, and I'm kind of beating around because I don't know, it's gonna be unleashed here very shortly. It's a 12-week program, and it's actually called Limitless Lab. And our listeners are going to be some of the first people that are going to get access to sign up for this program. So do you want to go ahead and just kind of go into what this is for and kind of what it's going to be all about?
Yes, certainly, Sean, and thanks for the introduction. Yes, when you mentioned when we met, I do remember Orlando, and it was good. We said, I talk about health for an hour, and then suddenly we get lunch, and obviously there's nothing healthy there, right? So, so we had to laugh about that, and that's how we got acquainted. I remember that was great. But since then, yeah, we've been to a nice retreat in Mexico together, get to know each other on a personal level, and that's also one of the reasons I reached out, Sean. We're pre-launching Limitless Lab. And so, yes, your listeners are one of the ones of the first that can take first dips into this training because it is a reduced price for the first time to really get it going. So everybody can take advantage. But what we're doing here is, as you said, Sean, most of us, whether you're a top athlete, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're just a professional, whether you're a performer, a musician, an artist, it doesn't really matter. We all want to be the best that we can be. We want to get to that next level and the next level and the next level. Problem is there's so many things that get into the way, right? And at the same time, we don't spend enough time on what I call self-optimization. I just talked to a bodybuilder, a number one bodybuilder, 84 years old. Happened to live in my building. I was in the elevator and I looked at him and I said, "You're in shape." And he said, "Yes, and I'm 84. And so we started talking, and I just had a great talk with him too, because we all have trainers or mentors, whatever it may be. And I'm not taking their job because I don't know how to train a bodybuilder. I don't know how to train an NFL player. But what I can do is I can make sure that your body and your mind are getting upgraded and optimized. I can help you upgrading your body, your mind, and your life. And that inadvertently, drastically gonna improve your performance, whatever it is that you do. And as you know, I've been in this field for decades. And so I finally put a course together called the Limitless Lab. And it's a 12-week virtual training where we're going to go to step by step is getting through all the 21st century biohacking technologies and strategies, and not just go through them, but customize them based on what your goal is. And then at the end, make a power routine with all those elements So that's a routine that you implement on a daily basis so you can make those incremental steps to maximize your performance and go to that next level and that next level and that next level, Sean.
Super exciting, super exciting. So then what is sort of the mission? The mission is to take every individual person where they're at in their life and raise them at a higher level, mentally, physically, spiritually. What is the mission ultimately?
Yeah, the mission is actually, if you accept it, John, the mission is to achieve your maximum potential, your maximum performance, and get to that next level through learning and mastering the 21st century biohacking technologies to upgrade your body, your mind, and your life. And we talked about it before this call because biohacking is about objectively reversing your biological age. So we're going to make every cell, every organ, every tissue in your body, but also your mind, because that's where winning is, between the ears. We're going to upgrade that to an extent where you are optimal when it comes to your body and your mind. And that's why it's called self-optimization, which will translate in you being better at whatever it is that you do and finally be able to get to that next level. Because most of us are trying, believe it or not. Most of us, even in sports is always an easy analogy, but this doesn't have to be for athletes. It can be for anybody that just wants to get to the next level. But sports is always easy, right, to make a reference to, because a lot of sports people, they think, oh, well, I'm training so hard, but I'm not making any progress. I'm status quo, or I'm making very little progress for the time I put in. And the only solution they can think of is train even harder or put even more time into their art or their performance. And usually that really doesn't do it. So I'm here to say, no, you don't necessarily have to train harder. You need to optimize yourself, right? You got the skills, you know how to do your job, play the violin or, run the track and field or be an entrepreneur. But now you want to be, you want to get to the top. You want to get to that next level. And so the way to do that is taking what I call the unfair advantage, because your competition won't do this. They won't invest in themselves, and they don't know how to take these 20th century, 21st century biohacking technologies and make them part of a daily routine. And so we're going to go, to 12 weeks to learn all these steps and master those, customize those, and mold them into a individual customized power routine. So within 12 weeks, you master that stuff. We develop your routine, and now you're on your way to maximum performance, next level, next level, next level, and nobody will be able to stop you because you're 100% in control.
I love that. And you know what, Dr. Mike, it has to be done by somebody who's done it themselves. And so for you, being a world record holder in swimming, right? And the last time I talked to you, I believe you were talking about possibly participating in the Olympics this year.
Well,
Or
not the
it,
Olympics. That's for young people, Sean.
no, but there was something you had like a
World championships,
the
master world
world
champion.
championships for swimming, which you're going to do. And that's something that you're really, like you're the person that's hit the highest level of peak performance, and athletics is always easy. But, when you're getting into peak performance in athletics, it's a mental, I mean, there's a lot that goes into structuring that. The people that reach that top 1%, 2%, those are all people that have pushed beyond the physical limits. The mind has been programmed, and it's been a process to get to that level. And so for you, with the achievements that you've had, you're and all the education, the nutrition, the herbal medicine, all the other things that go in on top of being a world premier athlete and still performing even at this level at this time of your life is really amazing. So I think when people are looking at these programs, they're really, looking at who is it that's running the program, and nobody's more qualified than yourself to be there, because there's guys like me that would say, Dr. Mike, I need to raise my game and get up to another higher level. And I love the fact that you're talking about entrepreneurs, right? You're not just talking about athletes. We're talking about business people, moms, everybody, whatever it is that you're doing, raising your level, raising your productivity, raising, all the different factors, more energy, and enhancing your life, and thinking bigger, and doing more. So, I mean, it's really exciting that you're really breaking down now and putting this out there and offering this to people. Um, what are some of the top reasons that older people tend to sort of slow down and kind of lose that edge?
Well, it's not necessarily losing the edge. It's young and old, Sean. We all know there's more inside of us, right? We all know we can do better, but we have these excuses or those things that hold us back. And here's just a few of the top, let's say top 5 or top 6. Number one, time. We always say, "Oh, I need to do this. I need to do more for myself," but there's only 24 hours in a day, and I'm doing this, this, this. So time's always an excuse. So what we will do during the training too is we will free up valuable time, and we will really talk about productivity and focus and being focused on our goals and dreams, because most of us waste a lot of time every day. And if it's not, Netflixing, then it's usually, well, we're tired after work and we sit in the couch, we're not doing much, or we are engaged in projects that don't serve us because we're human beings. And when people ask for help, we always say yes. But it's time to say no to things that don't serve us. And so, just a few weeks ago, I talked to this entrepreneur, a top executive, and he says, "Mike, if you think you can free up time in my schedule, you're wrong. I just don't have time." I said, "Well, let's go over your schedule." And so we figured out that he had 2 meetings that day. I said, "How long were the meetings?" "An hour each." I said, "Seriously, you're a professional, you're a business person. How come you cannot make a decision on a topic in 15 minutes and do yourself a favor and everybody else in the meeting a favor, and now schedule your meetings only for 15 minutes versus an hour?" So I freed up 90 minutes just that one day in a schedule of a very professional or a top executive, right? So we all have that extra time. And so we need to set a foundation, Sean. And so the foundation is basically purpose and a plan, right? And then we need to self-optimize, and then we can get a self-routine. So in a little bit, I'll talk about the key elements of the limited lab and how you will benefit from that, because there's 5 distinctive proven steps to get to that next level. And I'll be glad to share that with your listeners, what the key components are there. But, time is the first one. "Oh, I don't have any time." The next one usually is, there's no accountability. In other words, we start something, but nobody's watching, and then we skip one and we skip one. And so it's always, we do something for a little while and then we kind of fall off, and then we do something and fall off. And that doesn't serve you, because we really need incremental steps that accumulate quickly to a level you've never been before. So it's about accountability. It's also about consistency, which those lean very close together. About consistency is taking those incremental steps. And then it's about self-optimization, right? It's not that people don't work hard or they don't put in the effort, but many times, they're unable to kind of step out of their own, little bubble or box and see, like, am I being effective, right? Where am I spending my time? Because we all heard the statistic that 80% of what we produce, we do in 20% of our time. What if we could, get rid of that 80%, we're only producing 20%, right? And so we got to be a lot more effective. So we really talk about productivity, about fixing our focus, and about, freeing up that valuable time we talked about. And then it's about self-optimization. So there's many reasons. Maybe the last one I want to mention, mindset, right? We really gotta, that's probably the number one. We really gotta be focused on our goals and our dreams, and have a mindset of being totally focused and going for those goals and dreams. And there has to be other things in place in order for you to get to that mindset. But it's about belief system, because most of us are held back by our past. And I hate this word, but it's called failures, right? We had an obstacle, something went wrong, and now that is haunting us for the rest of our life. And so I teach people to be pulled forward by the future. What is that next level? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to run that record? Do you want to get a raise in your company? Do you want to be that better parent? Do you want to be that executive? Are you a millionaire, and do you want to be a billionaire? What is it that you want? And so our mindset needs to be there. We need to be pulled forward by the future, and we need to really work on that belief system. And we got many tools and tips where we basically upgrade that mindset and rewire the brain so that we can be successful, because the brain or the mind not only controls our body, but it also sets the blueprint, or is the blueprint to our future, our success, and our failure. Because if you doubt, Sean, that you're going to reach your goals, then the universe has two options, success or failure. If there's no doubt in your mind that you're going to reach your goals, then the universe only has one option, a big win, right? So you can see how important that mindset is. And so most people don't have the mindset to go to that next level and achieve their goals and their dreams. So there's many of those obstacles or many of the reasons why we don't get there. And so in the Limitless Lab, we're going to address all of those, overcome all of those, give tangible action steps that you can implement them. And then I help customize those into a power routine that fits your life and your goals and your dreams. And that's what it's all about. So there's many excuses, but with the Limitless Lab, we overcome those and pour those in actionable steps.
I love that. And I love the fact that everything is tailored to each person in the program, because everybody's coming in at a different level with a different background and different goals. And so customizing that. So the program is 12 weeks, correct?
Yes, it's 12 weeks program. It's virtual training, so it's just like you and I are talking right now, right? So there's two 1-hour trainings per week. The first hour is actually training. This is what we're doing today. This is what we're covering. This is what we're learning. And then there's worksheets. And so again, I'm going to make you accountable because we guarantee these programs, Sean. We guarantee results, but therefore you got to be participating. You got to fill out your worksheets, etc. So the first call in the week is the actual training. The second call is optional, but obviously you want to be on it, because the second one is now we're going to customize. So now everybody has questions and they say, okay, I learned this. I did my worksheet. I got it, Mike, but how does that fit into my life? How should I incorporate that? So the second call of each week of the 12 weeks is basically implementation, is how am I going to practically use this and individualize this from my goals, my dreams, and in my situation. So that's why we have the 2 calls per week.
I love that. So what are the 5 steps, and what do people learn when they get going with the
Yes.
Limitless Lab?
So, so the 5 key steps are the 5, I call it the P5 formula. We got purpose, we got plan, we got present moment, which is being in the zone, being in the present moment. Then we got the power of upgrading the body and the mind. And then we got power routine. So it's the P5 formula. Now, the first 2 are your foundation. We need to make sure we're living our purpose, and we need a plan, because that's the foundation. Without purpose and plan, we're just kind of shooting in the dark. And again, there's no consistency, there's no passion, there's no accountability, and we're not getting anywhere. Even though we know we could, we have no idea, because we're living in total chaos. So the first 2 steps, purpose and plan. Then the third and fourth step, present moment, it's like, how do I get into a flow state? How do I get into the zone on demand? Because that's when top athletes perform. That's when top performers perform. That's when you write the best novel. That's when you kill a presentation in front of 10,000 people and you don't know how you did it. It's being in the zone. But it's not something that comes by accident. It's a skill that we all can master. Getting into the zone or being in the zone is not just for athletes. It can be for anybody. So we teach people how to get into that present moment just by flipping a switch. Then number 4 is upgrading the body and the mind. What we're talking about, this is the actual substance, the meat, the meat and the potatoes of the course, right? It's learning all these biohacking technologies to upgrade the body and the mind and life. And once we do all those 4, we ultimately, put those into a power routine. We customize it so you can benefit from it and implement it yourself. So those are the 5 key steps. But the first one, to expand a little bit on each one, purpose, right? If you're not living your purpose and you don't have that fire in your belly and that passion, it doesn't matter what we're trying to do, really, because you're not going to be the best you can be, because you're doing something you're not passionate about. Not too long ago, I talked to an eye surgeon, and he was very successful, lives in $1 million home, pays all the bills, family, cars, he's got everything. But but when we talked about purpose, me and him, he figured out he was not living his passion or his purpose. And we figured out pretty quickly that his passion and his purpose was music, which has nothing to do with eye surgery, right? So even though you're successful and you're paying the bills, you may be content and life may be going okay, but maybe there's that passion and purpose missing. So in that first session or module, which is purpose, we're going to first of all figure out whether or not you're already living your purpose or not. And if you're not, we figure out what your purpose is. And if you are, you're probably barely tapping into it. And what we need to do is unleash that purpose and that superpower and that passion. And so we're going to talk in that first session about purpose. We're going to make sure you're living your purpose, or at least find out what that purpose is, because that purpose sets the base. It ignites that fire and that passion. So nothing will stop you. If that's not there, if you're just working for your boss, I mean, how can you be excited? How can you be relentless? You're going to probably do the opposite, is trying to get around the hurdle instead of taking that hurdle, right? Because it's not about you. It's about, the success of your boss. So purpose is very important. We spend some time on there. We ignite that fire. We ignite that passion. And with purpose becomes, is now that we have a purpose and a goal, we're setting our goals, we're setting the dreams. And so we get rid of everything that doesn't surface, which then frees up that valuable time, and we get really focused. And then the second step is plan. Now that we have our purpose, we put a plan into gear. When do you want to get to that next level? By the end of this year? Or, well, the Paris Olympics are too soon. It's this summer, but maybe the next Olympics. So now we have a 5-year plan. Or when do you want to be top of your company? Or when do you want to go from a millionaire to be a billionaire? And we set that time frame. And from that big goal, we break down in years and months and days. So we can take a small incremental step that you will find fulfillment in because you're passionate about it, that brings you one step closer to that huge big dream that most people are afraid of because it's overwhelming, those big dreams. But if we break them down in very small steps that we can attain on a daily basis, suddenly it becomes easy, right? So we need a plan really, written down. And the plan doesn't have to have the details or the how-tos. It needs to have the what. What do I want? When do I want it? And then we'll start breaking it down. And the how-tos, they'll fall in place as we move along that plan, right? The plan also may need, like what I call, a team of experts. We need to start thinking, who do we need to really reach our goals? Because we never can achieve the highest of our potential by ourselves, right? So again, to take the example of an athlete, we need a coach, right? If you're a swimmer, you need a swim coach, probably, hopefully a good one. But we also need a personal trainer in the gym. We also need a nutritionist. We maybe need a mental coach for visualization and those types of things. We need our family and our loved ones to support us. And the list goes on and on. We need a functional medicine doctor, make sure our hormones are optimal. We need a biohacking expert like Dr. Mike so I can upgrade and optimize. And so there's all these people that we may need to get to the goal. So who are your people? And we start working on that list. So we got purpose. Now we got a plan. Now we got the foundation. Once we get into foundation, we go into self-optimization. Now we got to talk about being in the present moment. Is producing a lot of or making something happen in a small amount of time. Is fixing our focus. Is increasing our productivity. Is staying focused on the goal. And those types of things. And learning the skills to get into the zone on demand. We can be an NBA player, but there's thousands of NBA players. Now, do you want to be a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant? In other words, yes, an NBA player is great, but do you want to be the MVP of the league or not, right? And that's
Right.
the difference because those, if you think about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they never had a bad game. They lost many games maybe because, they're a team, but they never played a bad game because they were always in the zone. And the reason they were in the zone because they had a routine that they could count on. And I call them power routines that they could count on each and every time. It didn't matter what people were booing or not booing. They were always in the zone. They had the end in mind. The difference there, Sean, was that people would watch a game, an NBA game, NFL game, even a golfer, the PGA Tour, and they would say, oh, he didn't or she didn't have a good day or had an off day. But what does that really mean? Does it mean that their talents just diminished overnight or their, capacities, their athletic capacities diminished overnight? No. I mean, nothing changed really. The only thing that changed is they weren't in the zone. They were distracted. Why were they distracted? Maybe something happened with their significant other or their family, or there was something in the press about them or some financial situation. But for some reason, they weren't in the zone. They were distracted. And that makes them anticipate just a little bit, slower, etc., etc. But most importantly, they don't have the end game in mind. When Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan miss a simple layup, they probably block the shot on the other end. while the average athlete, and even though they may be professionals, when the wide receiver, the ball slips through their fingers, usually it affects them the next few plays. The same with a basketball player, the same with a golfer. If they miss a simple putt, usually it affects them a few more plays or holes before they're back on track. When you're in the zone, you only have the end in mind, and it does not affect you. And that's what we're going to teach our participants, is how to master that skill of being present in the moment and performing in the zone on demand, not by luck. So that's number 3. Number 4 is, we're not going to give too much away there, but that's the meat and the potatoes, as I said, of the course. It's using 21st century biohacking technologies and strategies and tips to upgrade your body. Not by working out more, but by diet, nutrition, water, hydrogen, all the things we're going to discuss. And they not may all fit in your specific life, Sean, but we figure out which ones work for you and which ones you should integrate based on where you are and where you want to be. So that's going to be the fun part of the whole Limitless Lab. And then step number 5 is simple. We're just going to mold all those elements into a routine that you can use every single day to, again, a routine that you can count on to get to that next level. And those are the 5 steps that we are very excited about, that we put together to get people to that next level. Foundation, self-optimization, and putting it all in a customized routine that you can execute on a daily basis.
I'm pumped up. Let's do it, baby. Let's
Sign
go.
up, Sean.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Sign up.
I love that. I love that. And the thing is, it's like, Dr. Mike, it's all about being the best you can be in whatever it is that you're wanting to do with your life. It's expanding and being better. And I love the fact that you bring up a lot of these entrepreneurs, these business people. They might be doing a great job running a business, but they could still be doing more. They could still be at a higher level of physical shape. They could be mentally and physically stronger. They could rearrange their schedules and say, look, let me focus more on my passion and living a better life instead of just doing this mundane routine and putting this, I'm the CEO of the company stuff on their shoulder. There's way more that they could do with that. One thing that I would just have you talk about, because for me and you, we kind of understand the term biohacking, but for anybody that's out there that might not be familiar with that term, can you go ahead and just kind of give a basic or just a definition of what is biohacking and what does that actually mean?
Yeah, it's confusing because there's many definitions and many applications, but to me, it's simple. It's upgrading body, mind, and life from a health or performance point of view. The way we want to take advantage of these strategies and technologies is we want to objectively reverse our biological age. So we can't change our chronological age, but we can reverse our biology. And so, let's say, Sean, I'm going to compete in the 50-plus-year-old age group for swimming, right? But what if my body is only 40 because I've done all the things necessary? What an advantage would that be, right?
Yes.
And we can do that not only with the body, but also with the mind. And so those are very simple things that we can integrate that do not have to cost money, because most people think, oh, he's going to sell a hyperbaric oxygen chamber or a whole body photo biomodulation device of $100,000. No. It's not that those things can't work or don't help, but we need a foundation in biohacking also. And so I'm going to go over the 7 foundational biohacks that everybody can implement immediately and don't cost any money. And obviously, if you have a little bit of extra money here and there and you want to get a hydrogen inhalation system, or you want to get, a cold bath, although you can use your shower, but there's many things that we can do that don't require any extra money to really start upgrading and optimizing our body and our mind.
I love that. And Dr. Mike, we work with a lot of technology, and we've been talking a lot about chronological age and biological age. And I love the fact that you just addressed that the technology is all well and good if you've got it, but there is so much you can do mentally, physically, spiritually on your own without any technology to reverse your chronological age and to adjust your biological age to be 10 years, 15 years younger than your chronological age. And it's funny because people think, well, how can I? Because we get into the term anti-aging, we get into time reversal and all these other things, but technically that's really what's going on. But the one thing I can always tell people is that if you're in your 50s and you smoke cigarettes your whole life and you drink a lot of alcohol and you didn't eat very well, you can be in your 50s and look like you're in your 70s. And so the exact opposite is also true. If you exercise a lot, if you get the high density nutrition, if your mind is programmed right, if you're doing the programs like we're talking here with the Limitless Lab, you literally can take your chronological age and make it different than your biological age and revert back. And that's probably, a really good thing to talk about with the term biohacking, because
Yeah.
that ultimately is part of the goal, or really a lot of the goal is to make yourself younger than your actual chronological age.
You know what the beauty of all that is, Sean? We can objectively measure that today. We can measure your biological age, implement the strategies, technologies, whatever it is, and kind of see how effective they are and measure it again. So it's not just like, oh, there they are saying that they're biologically getting younger. No, we can objectively measure this. So that's the beauty
Yes.
of it. Yeah.
I love that. So I'm ready to go. Everybody else that's out there, we're ready to go. We want to get signed up. And as we talked about, this is the first 12-week course. For anybody that's watching this video that wants to get started, there's going to be a special rate on this first program. It starts, is it March 1st?
March the 4th, and again, we're gonna
March the
we're gonna
4th.
continue to have these, but the price will go up because
Yes.
the value is amazing. Again, you get 12 weeks of live virtual training and coaching, um, and then we have some bonuses for your viewers, Sean. So everybody that signs up gets 3 free bonuses. So that's for everybody. There's an unlimited email and text message access to myself personally via WhatsApp. So when you're going through the course, you always can reach out with questions, unlimited. Number 2, there's an on-demand support. So everybody gets basically 2 vouchers for two private calls, 15 minutes each with me directly, whenever they see fit, like, oh, I need that answer now. I'm trying to do this. I don't know how to do this. I wish I could call Dr. Mike. Well, you have 2 of those private sessions. And then there's everybody will get worksheets and checklists and research and resources. So, after the call, there will be worksheets. You will have some homework because we want this to work. Listening and not implementing is not going to make the difference, right? So there will be worksheets. There will be things that you will need to do. And then I'll help you customize those things. So that's for everybody. But for your listeners, Sean, for the first 10 that sign up, there's 2 extra free bonuses when participants register and pay. The first one is you get a copy of my free book. You already have this book, Sean, but it's the ISOT method, in the zone on demand, unleashing your superpower. So we got 10 copies of this book to grasp. And then also I work a little bit with AI because AI is amazing. And so we will talk during the course about AI. And I work very closely together with a developer of Precision Health AI. And so we will give the first 10 people a free subscription to start the AI program, which will help, with optimizing your health, your body, your mind, and your relationships also. So those are 2 extra free bonuses for the first 10 people, Sean, that you bring on and register.
That's fantastic. So where do we go? What is the process? What's the website? And by the way, I will have it down here underneath the video, so we actually will be able to see it. But for anybody now watching, what is the process? Where do we go and how do we get signed
Yeah,
up?
so there's one simple page. It's called limitlesslab.live, L-I-V-E. Limitlesslab.live is the web page. You go there, all the information, everything we talked about is there. You can register, you can pay, and you can, go again over what it is. All my credentials are there also. Or you can go to my website, biohackingunlimited.com, and click on Limitless Lab, and you get to the same page. Sean, so that's basically it. We're going to keep the group small because, of course, I got to attend to everybody at the same time. And we will continue to do this lab training over and over again. But this time it's cheap. Next time it will be a little bit more expensive. So take advantage.
That's awesome. And once again, anybody that's out there, get to the Biohacker Expo and go see Dr. Mike, keynote speaker, coming up in Miami, February 23rd through the 25th. Dr. Mike, thank you so much once again. It's great to see you. Super excited about this program, and yours truly is going to be signing up for it.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Sean.
All right, man. Take care. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Take care.